Up next on Inside ChampCar, 14 hours at Daytona. Welcome to Inside ChampCar. Out here on the West Coast, I'm Brian Bielanski. There's somewhere in the beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia's Bill Strong waving it up. Hello, Mr. Strong.
Hey, I'm just making sure all the sound is working because, this weekend, sound and video issues we had many of, hardware issues. So, yeah, and it works.
Bill, move to your right or do that.
What if I move the camera?
That's even better. That's even better.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I lost my camera that I would normally use. It's somewhere in the excursion.
So you survived Daytona, right?
Supposedly. I still feel like I'm there. That was a long week, man.
Yeah.
We left Tuesday. I left Tuesday to get down there on Thursday for early morning meetings with the track and just meetings with Dana and the crew. And then we went to work Thursday afternoon to set up Flagtronics. Got all that done for the most part. We had to make some massive changes because of the 3 million automobiles that would be racing with us that weekend. And then we started the race Saturday morning. Friday was Tech Day, which I assisted with others to, and me and Andy and Morgan from Flagtronics updated Flagtronics units for everybody to make sure everybody was on the same version. That was a lot of work. Probably not as much work as what Ray, Ray and his tech team had, and they did 90 cars in 6 hours.
6 hours.
7 hours. Sorry, 7 hours.
7 hours, 90 cars. That's pretty impressive right there. Yeah.
Well, Ray and I were in, I forget what restaurant it was, but he's like, you could just see the pain in his face trying to think of how many cars he had to tech. And he, I went through the calculator, using my mad math skills, and figured out we would spend 3 minutes. We could spend 3 minutes and 20 some odd seconds per car. And then, could see him I just made him more freaked out, which made me happy. But it was fun. We had people pre-teching and they got it done. And I want to send out a huge congratulations to our tech guys and people that assisted. Now,
so
the line inside the building for registration, that's another completely different subject that I did not have any control of. But
So 130 cars took, we've got a teaser here of who's going to be joining us coming up in just a second. The Floridiots, winners from Daytona, will be here. 130 cars took the green, Bill, or at least completed a lap. I don't know that they were all there at the start of the race.
I think we were down to I think it was like 124 took the green flag as like a bunch were on pit lane tweaking whatever what you do on pit lane when the green flag drops. I don't know. I've always been on track. Maybe somebody out there knows what happens. I don't know. Usually I had problems seeing what happens when the checkered flag drops, unlike our guests here, winners at Daytona, the Floridiots.
All right, let's bring them on, everybody. Here they come. This is the guys of the hour, and they have joined us here. We've got Jason Hickman, Charlie Brown, Brian spelled properly Moody. That's why you guys won. You had a guy named Brian, and he spells his name the right way, and that's why you guys got to the checkered flag first.
I was thinking it was Charlie Brown.
Well, there's that too.
It's all aliases.
Bob Smith, Bill Smith, and Jim Smith, right?
Something like that.
Congratulations, gentlemen. And I don't know you well enough to not call you gentlemen, so we'll go with that. You guys, so I missed the first half of the race, but I did get all of the social media keyboard warrior play-by-play of who was in front for the first part of the race. When I came on the broadcast,
but anybody can lead at the beginning of the race. Seriously, anybody.
Even I could lead the first lap.
Yeah, I've led many 5.5 hour races.
So when I jumped on the broadcast, with about 5.5 hours to go. You guys had it well in hand at that point, and then I was not feeling well, so I didn't stick around long. And then I checked in at the last
Needs
hour.
more VPI. Needs more VPI.
Yeah, nobody was
Sorry.
saying. Nobody. I saw nobody on social media saying that you guys were classed wrong or had the wrong number value. Why was it okay for you guys to dominate the back half, and nobody complained about that?
Well, I think, wait. I think what happened is they used to be a C-class car and they put an air intake on it and now they're a D-class car. I think that's how they looked at D-class and said, nobody ever wins in D-class. Let's go to the easy class.
I love it.
There's a snail-shaped cold air intake on the hood. And that
Yeah.
Good.
That's partially true. C-class is so competitive. We looked at D-class saying, we might have a shot there. We have a car that makes it through races. And D-class wasn't really known for that.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's start in the beginning.
oh yes,
Like,
I screwed it up this time.
that's all right, Brian.
So
So
go ahead.
I've been racing with you guys for a very long time. You guys come back from the ChumpCar era. Tell us how you got started in racing. Let's start at the top. Or who wants to start that off?
Sure. Oh,
Jason, I think
Brian?
this is yours.
Yeah, let's do it. So Brian and I met in college in Formula SAE in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Which school?
University of Florida.
Oh,
Gators?
really?
Chad is there too.
Oh.
Chad hasn't joined us, but our crew chief Chad is,
Yep.
he centers this team as well.
Yeah, so I was the 2001 team lead, and Brian was the 2002 team lead. And I actually drove for Brian as a ringer in 2002. I'm going to call myself a ringer.
He used up all my gas.
So wait a second. Now,
So- so
Jason,
race, that's
So
right.
he failed. So he failed the MPG section of Formula SAE.
But I went really fast.
Yeah, he's really fast. So we ran out of gas and cost us the endurance event. But it was, I've been accusing him of that for close to, well, that was 2002, so more than 20 years now.
What's
But
funny though
we've
is
been-
before you go, usually other people refer to someone as a ringer. No one refers to themselves as a ringer.
yeah, he says
That's
that
not
of
the first
himself
time.
as well. Just roll our
He's not
eyes.
afraid to pat himself on the back. There's another story here.
Clearly,
Well, there's countless stories. How many hours do you have?
Yeah. Oh, well, I think YouTube we can go 12 hours without having
Yeah.
to go to a part 2.
So Formula SAE, unfortunately for the University of Florida. Charlie, how did you get involved with these guys?
So I met them 10 years ago now. Attended a couple of races, and they knew I knew how to work on cars and had turned a steering wheel before, and they gave me a shot in 2014. First race was the Homestead midnight to midnight race. So I've been driving with them ever since.
Very nice. Next question, Brian. What's in the beer glass?
This is water. This is
Uh-huh.
a bourbon barrel aged
Water.
imperial water.
Very nice. Very nice. I love that.
It's delicious.
So
He's a winner. He gets sprinkles.
did you all do any racing before college? Was there anything that got you into motorsports before that, or is that where you all kind of really started out in the whole thing?
A lot of spectating.
Yeah, all fans of racing our whole lives, and that led to getting behind the wheel.
Cool. And what was the first car?
I actually wasn't really that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You
Go
really
ahead.
weren't what?
I really actually wasn't that into racing until I got into Formula SAE. I was always a gearhead and working on old cars when I was in high school with my dad. I bought a 1968 Camaro that he helped me out with, and that was the mid 90s. So it was just kind of a project for my dad and I to work on, and that sort of got me into cars, and then that got me into engineering school. Then Formula SAE, that sounded interesting. Got into that, and then that led to the racing. But before that, it wasn't really a racing passion, to be honest.
So, Brian, you were a cool kid in high school until you went to college.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I was a car nerd.
Yeah.
I still am.
There's that awkward silence there.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely all
Yeah, there we
nerds.
go.
Engineers.
I love it. So when was the introduction to ChampCar, ChumpCar? Which era of the ChampCar did you guys jump in?
What was our first ChampCar race or ChumpCar race? Do you remember?
Well,
Our
you guys
first
did
race was
lemons.
in
You
20
guys did lemons too, right?
Did
Yeah, our
lemon?
first
I
race
think
was
Sebring?
PBIR in 2010 Lemons race. It was
Yeah, the 24, right?
Yep, it was us, the Infinity. They're local here. That was their first race in Lemons. So that's where we started, and then ChampCar popped
Well,
up.
You got to tell them the spectating story, how it really started.
Oh yeah,
Actually, that wasn't our first race. That's right.
You forgot a bit.
Louisiana.
Ah,
We're engineers, so
Yeah.
we did research.
So we heard of this lemon stuff, and we thought it might be kind of interesting. We read a few things. It's like I think these might be our people. So Jason, Chad, and I loaded up in Chad's car, and we drove out to Louisiana to watch and camp at a lemons race. And Phil, who was writing for Jalopnik at the time, his write-up of the race included our campsite because we rented a garage or something because there was one covered patio area available, and so we rented that even though we didn't have a car, and we set up our tent there because it was just raining the entire weekend.
right.
So we set up our tent with an air conditioning unit,
A window
and
shaker.
the window shaker AC to air condition our tent. And in his recap, he accused us of cheating at camping.
Because of the AC unit.
Yeah, but I mean, in our defense, there was no BS inspection for campsites.
Right.
So cheating, we didn't get busted for it.
Well, Chad's commenting on here.
Uh-oh.
That's
Yeah, he's just, I mean, it's all good. He hadn't said anything bad yet. Yeah, Chad called Jason, the team captain, Moody, and the evil mastermind, Charlie, the mechanic extraordinaire. And you guys started in 2011 with ChumpCar.
Oh, good. Oh,
So
right.
that's his feedback. So I don't know how true that is. He could be stretching the
He's
truth.
got all the data. You should be talking to him. We don't know anything.
Yeah. Just steer.
We just do what we're told on the radio. Sometimes.
There you go. Sometimes. That's what I heard.
Anybody who's watched the show knows we don't fact check anything anyway, so
No.
it's all good. It's all
You guys
good.
did finish first, right? Yeah, you did
Absolutely.
finish first. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. Oh,
That's actually where we came up with the name.
Yep.
They needed
There.
he's showing off hardware.
That was no accent.
So, I do see the hardware on top of the car there. Once we go to the full screen, people will see it. So what was the first car with ChampCar? What did you guys get involved with? Which car?
This one.
This is the car.
only car we've ever run.
Yeah, since 2010.
Porsches, cheaty cars. Remember when they used to call those cheaty cars all the time?
We were slow.
Well, so was Ron. Visceral. I mean, seriously, we would run. Yeah, it was, and they were always blowing up. It wasn't like the Porsche doing great. Gearbox would just whine like crazy. People would think. Well, remember I don't know. You guys didn't run at Summit Point, but at Summit Point, Lemons ran there, and there was a 944 that ran, and it was back when they would pour that stuff in your engine oil for the cheaty thing, and that was like the last one they ever did because there was a lot of people upset about that. Because they just had whiny gears. It wasn't like they were straight cut or anything. They just had a really bad gearbox.
Yeah.
And what or something. And it was and there was a lot of them that would just fail. I mean, they were quick out of the box. I always thought they handled back in those days. We ran 2 NA MR2s, the 135 horsepower ones, and we were equal with you guys. And it was fun racing with you and Ron and what was the other Team Jackie X back then? So back when they were slow before they put all the cheaty stuff in there in whatever they did to make them fast. But I think a lot of it just wasn't the engines and stuff over the years. It's just sorry, I put we in your category because you're a true winner at Daytona. But you guys, a lot of the teams that started out back then, we've just put in seat time, and you've just gotten better and better over time. Much like that wine he's drinking.
So
is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've slowly tried to upgrade the car and upgrade ourselves. And like I said, seat time and practice and experimenting with setups and tires and shocks. And, we've just kind of slowly gotten a good formula.
Checklists and practicing. We practice pit stops like after year 3, and all of a sudden realized that we could do it in less than 5 minutes.
So, yeah, that was one of the first things we did was, we knew that even that 5-minute stop was, we could do a lot. And we knew we were going to have things that were broken. So as long as we got the pit stop done quick, we had time to fix that other stuff.
Yeah, it was a matter of just thinking about who's available at what time to do what job and what all needs to be done. And just think about it from an efficiency standpoint. And the pit stop's not too hard to organize.
Right.
I've had people tell us that that come to the race, say, we've seen other teams that look like there's not a lot of sense of urgency. And if they don't care, they don't want to take it seriously, and they just are leisurely about it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we want to minimize time in the pit box, and so we've made effort to make that as efficient as possible, and I think it goes a long way. And I don't think it's rocket science. It's just think about who needs to do what and make it happen.
So for those who aren't familiar, tell us about the car. I mean, we can only see part of it in the background. So what is the car? What's the background?
So we bought 2 cars in 2009, 85 R 944 and an 87 924S for $800. And we made the 85 944 run. So it's a 1985 944 NA with now the homebrew turbo we put on in 2019. Before that, we mega squirted it and learned how to tune the car and make it run pretty well NA with the mega squirt. And then once we had that down, then adding boost and tuning for boost is pretty simple.
So that's a real Air Research turbo on it, not one of those Chinese copies?
That is straight off the boat from China.
It's definitely Chinese.
$139.
It was very carefully selected, but it is definitely Chinese.
I bought a book on turbochargers.
And learned.
Yeah. I bought one of those years ago because we were talking about doing something like that with a V6. So I bought one of those $130 turbos, and yeah, it was not very pretty inside. Have you done anything to it?
No. Well, we have an external wastegate because the internal wastegate is too small to run the low boost we're trying to run.
So you call 18 PSI low boost?
Oh, that would be fun. It wouldn't last too long.
It'd be fun for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Says the mechanic.
Yeah, that turbo is big enough to build. We could turn it all the way up, and we could run as much power as you can imagine for a very, very short amount of time. Way oversized. So we're running it very conservatively. And that's what people don't realize when they see it.
But isn't it normal to take a turbo and just keep tuning it up, turning it up, turning it up, turning it up until you're happy? And of course, you're never happy.
There's no question.
Turn it up until you're very suddenly unhappy.
Right. you might be happy, but the motor might be very unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
So we always do a health check after so we can tell if we're in the sweet spot or not. We do compression, and we look inside with a borescope, and we look at plugs. So we try to make sure we're in where we need to be. We try to be smart about it.
All right, so tell us about Daytona. Tell us about your run. How did it go? I know the first part of the race there was another team who ran pretty fast, and then you guys took over. So what was your race
they
like?
weren't that fast. I mean, what?
8 seconds a lap.
8 seconds a lap is nothing at Daytona.
Yeah, because they weren't sandbagging when they were 8 seconds a lap faster than the field.
I remember getting a radio from Chad telling me that I had just passed the leader, and I'm looking around thinking, I don't remember having seen. Yeah, and I think I'd have remembered that.
Well, the leader had been off the track for 6 laps.
Yeah, well, brings me back to something I've said many, many times before. The vast majority of cars I've ever passed for position were on jack stands at the time.
Yeah.
That takes some magnificent driving skill to make sure that every time you are passing for position, the car you're passing is on jack stands. That's skill.
Yeah, well,
Staying on track.
it is. Well, no, it's preparation. I mean, you don't want to get into like the old fables of the tortoise and the hare and any of that stuff. It's not still and steady. It's balls to the wall, but it's preparation.
Well, that brings
Right.
us back to like 2018 or 2017. We finished 12th overall. But if you look at our fastest lap time against the entire field, 99 cars turned a faster lap time than us.
Wow.
Yeah, staying on track is obviously important, but it's something we got a reputation for too. There's many people who's commented that this Porsche is always out there.
Yeah.
Well, and if you've run the same car since what, 2010?
Yeah.
You know, there's only one way that happens. It's keeping it off the wall, keeping it away from other cars.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it doesn't happen. Not getting in accidents doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Right.
You got to be situational aware.
I do have one question that
Just
is
one?
in the minds of everyone. Why no arrow?
Well, we only have
Points.
so many points.
Points.
We can either make the engine
You
run
But
said
you-
it
properly.
at the beginning. VPI.
You can't you can't win a race without arrow, supposedly.
We
Okay.
just proved that wrong. I'm pretty sure.
Well, maybe I'm going to write that down and throw it away.
Wait, let me look at let me look at the forum again.
we don't
So,
even run the
hold on,
factory
hold on.
spoiler, which we could.
Oh, you don't have the factory sport. So, and you don't even really you haven't really taken 10,000 pounds off it because it still has a nose in the rear end of the car.
Correct.
It's all there. I mean, all of the pretty much, 100% of the sheet metal's there.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It just blows me away. It's a full car with no
It's
arrow,
kinda handy.
and they win Daytona.
Well, maybe it's still a full car because it has all the body work, and if it does get hit, the body
Go
doesn't
ahead and
just
knock it
peel
out.
off like a banana peel.
You guys did get into an incident at Sebring, didn't you?
We've had
It's
three
not all the
big-
original bodywork.
Okay.
Right.
So, like
We've
the
got
front,
new
the
fenders.
hood, there was nothing wrong with the hood. We just didn't want to cut up the original because it had gotten too much history painted onto it, like with the Lemons races and things like that.
Right.
But we did need a new, front fenders and front valence and whatever else. I don't know. If driver store, I think, was crunched pretty good.
For those
that wasn't from
last
the
year,
Opel or
too.
MR2, right? Oh, that was okay. never
No,
mind.
no.
for those not into the
Sorry, man.
I said for those not into the high level German engineering, valence is bumper cover.
Yeah, I was looking that up now. Thanks, man.
I was just I could see Bill going like, "What's a valence?"
Balance.
So I just wanted to translate for Bill. That's a bumper cover, Bill.
So I liked it. Kruger Tuned Racing just posted up. Bill, we won Hallett without arrow. Stop spreading rumors. Was in a Boxster. You don't know which way those things are going.
Yeah, we've had two big incidents at Sebring over the years. One that crunched up the left side really hard, and one that crunched up the right side really hard.
I remember
and then
one
at
of those.
Daytona a few years back, we got tagged pretty hard.
Yeah.
But we were able to keep the car,
We-
straighten it out well enough using a combination of trees and come-alongs.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
three of those
jerked it with the
incidents,
truck pretty
got
hard.
that on
We had a fairly rough 2021,
Yeah.
being crashed out of several races: Daytona, Sebring. Well, we crashed out of the first Sebring race, and we got back on track for day 2, which was a separate race.
Right.
But Daytona is when Charlie got put into the wall.
Yeah, pretty
That's where
hard.
we-
We
that's where we
spent the
get the
better
front
part of
end.
the day yanking the frame straight on this thing.
Yeah, that's right. That was a very cringy moment, but
But we
You
got
know.
back on track.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we-
took checkered flag.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you guys, it goes back to the old ChumpCar people. I see guys that they dent a fender and they put it on the trailer and take it home. But I think back when I know it's crazy, but when we started racing, it was like you'd spend time in the paddock, but you'd always try and get the car out there no matter what to finish
We
to
like
take the
racing.
checker.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're not winning, it's still fun to be out there.
Not only that, we spent a lot of money to come.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about is like we spend 3 hours off track unbending the car. When we go back out there, okay, there's 130 cars in this race. We're in a heated battle for 73rd position, whatever. So, but you're on track and you're still doing the same math at the end of the race. It's like, okay, well, our lap times versus the car in 72 position, we can catch them in this many laps if we push it. So suddenly our world becomes, we're battling for that 72 place.
Yeah.
Is that important to anybody else in the world? No, who cares?
No, but it's great to get on the form and brag that you finished in the top 62.
Well, that's still the top half of the field.
Yeah.
In that moment, a win is a win. And maybe a win for you that day is to catch that car because, I mean, obviously placing is out of reach mathematically.
Right.
I don't know. Why not push to try to, I don't know. That's your goal right now. That's your assignment. Do it.
Well,
make it happen. Or at least try. Who gives a shit?
And the other thing that's important with that, and this is to Charlie, if you get it back out for the last couple of hours, you now have a couple of hours of data to know what to fix, because obviously you're not going to get it fixed when you're pulling fenders out and putting things straight in the paddock. But then you got to take it back home, and you want to make it as good as possible for the next race. By going out there for a couple of hours, you can start making a checklist of, okay, this is still bent, this is still a little wrong, we can go take back. If you don't do that, you make all those fixes at home, you get to the next race, and now you've guessed whether the car's right or wrong.
Oh yeah, that comes, especially when you race the same car for so long. You know its weaknesses. We know the lifespan of certain components on the car, so we change them preventively. So we know, wheel bearings last this long, rod bearings last this long, and like you said, you get that data, and so we know what parts to change on the car before they fail to keep us on track. So yeah, absolutely, you're getting seat time, you're getting practice driving, and you're getting data about the car. So yeah, there's a ton of value. Not to mention, you're out there with your friends. This is why we do it. I mean, winning's great.
So that's how we started the team. We found out Lemons was coming to PBR, which is about 15 minutes from my house. And I called up my college buddy. Guys, we're building a race car and we're going racing, so let's go pick something. And I had a 944 that I bought for like $3,000 in college. That's what I drove. And I love that car. I didn't realize how bad it was to work on.
Yeah, that thing was.
But we got them anyway.
Yeah. So, we look down. I'm up in the tower. I'm looking down pit lane saying all kinds of words like holy and cow and.
Are those really the words you were saying, Bill?
Yeah, something like that. But it was like there were so many cars along pit lane, so many that we couldn't park them in the right spot. They were just out in the pit paddock, in the pit lane. And then I turned away. I had to we had some problems with the show, so I had to go to that room and kind of came back, and they're already leading out. And it's like, wow, we haven't even got a quarter of these cars out yet, and they're just on the back straight now. So it took a while to get the cars out. Now, when the race started, me personally, I absolutely love starting a race with the passing and being, with large amounts of cars. I'm pretty certain you guys are like that too. What was that like? Who started?
I did.
So what was that like out there?
Well, we started pretty close to the front. I think about 18th position. So because we're reasonably quick now, we were able to make a few passes, right at start finish and go into turn one, not too far down. And we had enough pace to not be in the melee. I was a little worried if I was back in like 100th or the 70s, somewhere in there, to get caught up in one of the things that usually happen at the start of the race. I was really surprised that it was as clean as it was for the first 5 laps. Didn't seem to be, purple 30. I thought it'd be purple 35 lap 2,
We thought it would be the first, as soon as the checker went out, it was the big one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But an important part of that is that you guys don't try to stack them all up before you throw the green flag. I was watching at the start when the green flag fell. There were still people coming out of the International Horseshoe.
See, I think I was voting for 3 wide start, and I was voted down
sure you
quickly.
Yeah,
no, it makes drama. I mean, we did it. Didn't we do a 2 wide start there? Or was that Charlotte? Yeah, we did a 2 wide start there at Daytona. Yeah.
So at the
think
start
they
of the
did,
race,
yeah.
I always just let people by. It's like, if you want to go drive like a madman and stick your nose where it doesn't belong, go ahead. I'm going to let you by. The first 5 laps are yours. Then I'm going to start, reeling you back in.
Yeah, because that
not worth
track's
getting crashed
sandy.
out.
Well, the
It's a
track's sandy
freaking
and it's
downright.
slippery.
Yeah, it's a mess.
And, yeah.
So, any big moments, any big issues this year? I mean, obviously, it seemed like it was pretty much a perfect run for you guys, but it's never a perfect run in 14 hours, right?
2 of them.
Yeah, it was a little bit of drama. So the first half of the race went well, but
We got
second half we're in the lead.
They had to do
And,
some aerobics.
A little bit of miscalculation on the fuel, and we coasted into pit end. I was in the car at the time. It started sputtering about turn 2, so I had to be real creative with keeping it going and keeping out off the racing line, so I didn't get collected. Luckily, I was able to get out, and get the car on the apron. Got nursed it around, got through the bus stop. Well, I found a little gap there, and they had to push me from pit end. So we had a near moment there, but I think we got lucky with a purple 35, and the guys got some exercise. I didn't have to push, so I got a freebie there.
Yeah. We heard you on the ChampCar Live saying even when they're unlucky, they're lucky.
Yeah.
35 right now.
The truth is, the 2 things that kind of went wrong for us, the 2 big things, we could not have been luckier about it because, we ran out of fuel about a 2-minute push from the pit box.
So, where was your pit box?
We were
right under
so
the
we're
tower,
kind of in
pretty
front of
much.
the Daytona
Just before
500,
the shoot.
the
Okay.
Daytona Club building.
So
we're
that's
on the
like-
far
Yeah,
end.
they were right in the middle.
That's
so
like a mile-long
long
push.
it's all downhill.
Well, it wasn't
No.
great, but I mean, we got it there, and we were able to get. I was getting in the car at that point, and
Chad's
we were
whining.
at, like, maybe I want to say the timer was reading 6 minutes when I was leaving the pit box to go out. So running out of gas.
Fueled it.
Yeah,
We didn't check
running
the
out of
oil.
fuel
We didn't do
on
anything.
track.
We sent
Sorry.
it.
Yeah. Chad says it was pit 24 and it was terrible to push.
Well, he was the first one there. He's the littlest guy on the team, and he was the first one to the car and already pushing by the time I got there. And then we had one person from another team actually jump over the wall and help push. Everybody else was trying to figure out how they would help, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, contemplating helping.
Yeah, well,
Dude, that's a long way.
We'll help them in 5 minutes.
Exactly.
That's something I wanted to.
We'll help them, but we're going to give them a few minutes.
No, I wanted to point that out. Big thanks to whoever had helped, and that's one of the things about ChampCar is the community. People will help you even if you're their competition.
Oh, come on now. There were 75 people on pit road who could have come and helped push that car, but only one did.
975.
It helped.
And I think that was Matt, who's actually crewed for us before.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah.
All right, fine. They're all big heads. I don't know. What do I know? No, I'm
So
kidding.
basically, Ken says that you gave us false hope when you saw you pushing your car on pit lane. But you still left out of pit lane in first place. So it was like, oh, okay.
When I left, I got in the car and I left. I'm pretty sure I was pulling out of the pit box, and the Flagtronics gives you the timer. I want to say it was at like 6 minutes.
6, yeah.
That's after getting in. That's after pushing there, driver swap, fuel, everything, and I'm leaving. And so we lost. Well, by the time I get there and pull out, a minute and a half.
Right.
Losing a minute and a half on track by running out of gas, you cannot get any luckier than that. You can't ask for more than that.
Especially on a 3.6 mile track.
I can probably
that could have been a showstopper. I mean, that could have been a 3-minute
I could name
ordeal.
off a few teams from my log that ran out of gas on the other side of the track, and it took them 15 minutes to get back.
Yeah. I doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. And the other thing that went wrong was, we got a penalty for passing under yellow.
Here, let me find that. Let me find what lap that was.
It was late.
What's that?
So let me
It was
find out
about
what
an
lap
hour
that
left.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I remember hearing that. So we don't
go back.
we don't go by team names. We say a car number. So, you know, a lot of teams, we know their car numbers, we know yours, but nobody's really listening to, they're not thinking like that. They say car 56, black flag passing under yellow. So we write it down and I'm like, 56. Hey, you know, that's the leader of the race. And everybody looks up like, really? So, yeah. Okay, go on. Just wanted to give you my aspect of it.
We went back and looked at the video, and it was a legit penalty. So
Yeah.
what basically happened is, so after the international horseshoe and the kink, and then there's I'm going to digress for a second. What is the second horseshoe? Is that the West horseshoe? Given that like a no-name horseshoe.
Yeah. I wrote all kinds of names on those maps, and everybody kept telling me no, taking it back to some Rodriguez, Pedro, or something names. They change every year depending on the sponsor, I think.
But it's like we have the international horseshoe, and then like the other horseshoe, or West horseshoe, or the.
I think they do call it the West horseshoe because that's what they were calling it in the tower.
Okay, well, it's getting no respect. It's the regional airport of horseshoes, I guess. Out of that, like. Line of sight, you can see at turn 6, there's the flag station and the flashing yellow. Looking at the video, we can see that, and about 2 seconds later, the Flagtronics comes on with the flashing yellow, and then just after that, we passed a car on the right that was on the right of us. So yes, legit. It was close, but if you know, I want to sort of segue into like. You know, with the Flagtronics, I know we're still fine-tuning that system, and this is not in any way like a negative criticism. But if that's, however that can be done, if there's any kind of precision on that can be adjusted, it would be ideal if we get the Flagtronics warning before line of sight. I don't know how they have that set up with the GPS.
I do. It was perfect. It worked perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that's a suggestion. And again, no, I'm not complaining.
No, Dana did final approval on all the sectors.
Okay.
So I
don't know. It may be that precision wise, that's too tall of an order. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Well, Bill, isn't this obviously the Flagtronics and the lights are on the track? They're different buttons, right? It's not the same. It's not one button. So
those are all controlled. Those are all controlled by the tower,
right?
And the way we had to, some people saw that I'd written, we made some tweaks to the system for this weekend because of the amount of cars. Mostly it was reporting back to us what we saw. But when Dana pressed that button or David pressed that button, it was instantaneous in your car and on the flag stands. So there was no delay whatsoever. I mean, it's fast as light stuff, you know. So
but this was a local yellow. This wasn't a full course.
Well, even they can do it too. Yeah, they do the local yellows, and I think that one was controlled by one corner, but it affected multiple corners. So yeah.
But we've gotten to, like, honestly, I like the Flagtronics a lot, but we get to where we rely on that because it's right there in the line of sight. So I don't see the flag stations as well, especially at night.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made some suggestions that maybe we put up more panels, but we'll see what happens next year. Because, you know, I'm just the media guy per some people on the internet. But I think, do you think having more panels up would have helped a little? Mainly on the oval, the super speedway.
Sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't really get an answer for that, but so we reviewed it and realized, like Brian said, we rely on the Flagtronics, and it was just, hey, we were in the heat of battle and made a slight misstep.
Actually, it wasn't even battle. I was closing in a car with a really big Delta V,
and it turned yellow pretty much as I hit the car. So we were there, and I should have slammed on the brakes and given the position back, I guess.
Now, for those that aren't engineers, what is Delta V? It's not a rocket.
Speed difference.
Yeah, speed differential. It was a blue RX-7, and they were, I think one of the Class F cars, so they weren't really fast. So
what?
Yeah. So and speed differentials were huge this year. There were a number of cars that were, I don't know if they were breaking 100 on the banking.
Yeah. I don't.
I'm not kidding.
I've always thought it'd be fun to take the Opal there just to piss people off. Paint it up like Riley's car, you know. Be kind of
Bill,
fun.
That'd be
Bill,
awesome.
I'm glad you bring up the Opal because with the headlights, the shape of that, I feel like that would look really nice with one of those replaced by a turbo.
It would fit because I don't have the lights in there anymore. But yes, we've talked about it. I know.
It'd be kind of like a cyborg and sort of a what's the Star Trek thing I'm looking for here?
Yeah, I know the Borg. Yeah. Not that I'm a Star Trekkie.
Engine nerd.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, well, Dana wore. Did you see Dana wore a red shirt like the first day, the third or the Friday? Or no, he wore it on. When did he wear his red shirt? It might have been Friday. Yes, it was Friday. And I'm like, oh, that's not good, Dana. Not good. He wore a red shirt. He gets it because he may not look like a nerd, but yeah. So, what do you guys think of Betty White? That's been mentioned here.
One of the
they were at Road Atlanta, right? Yeah, that's the second race we ran with them. Yeah, they cornered well. I think I saw it tripoding once. They were pushing it.
So tell us what Betty White is, Bill.
Betty White is it a VW or it's a big square boxy thing with
a
wrap?
hatchback. I think it's
a
like
rabbit
a Golf or something.
Yeah. And it's got a wrap of Betty White all over it. And the back one is she's flipping you guys off as he passes you.
I talked to those guys at Road Atlanta, and they said one of the things they hadn't thought of when they put that on there is, being a two-dimensional graphic on the window, it looks the same inside as it does outside. So when they're sitting in the car, every time they look in the mirror, it's Betty White. Back window.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's got to be distracting.
Or motivation.
No
or motivation.
Yeah. So what car scared you the most out there? Just from speed or from just surprise? There he is.
From competition, I mean, GPU is always tough to match. But everyone else, I mean, we were walking around the paddock on Friday thinking we were expecting a lot more hardware to show up here. I mean, there's obviously some well-built cars and, a lot of speed, a lot of power there. But I mean, we know what we've got, and we were pretty confident even on Friday that we were going to do well. I mean, we were certainly anticipating at least a top 10. So, like I said, I know even some of the big power cars, we know we can catch them on fuel and pit stop. So, we were fairly confident.
Because Barris was about the Barris Motorsports Miata was about the same speed as you guys, but that Bear Maximum and the TLM marathon coach car, that they were a second a lap faster than you guys.
TLM,
so were they a worry?
We were nervous until we looked at what pit stops they were on.
And we knew they had to stop an extra time, one more time than we did. And Burris, I had a great run with their driver in the first stint. We spent 40 minutes trading positions on the infield and on the banking. And that was a lot of fun. Super clean, super close. And I love it when you're in a race like that where you've got actual cars that you can get right up into, and we're both going to give each other enough room, whereas other people just chop across the track on you and take you out. So
right.
So when you're up, I'm asking because I've never been up a couple laps in an endurance race, so I'm jealous. What's that?
Neither day.
Well, until this weekend.
Well, that's great. So let me ask the question: when you're up a couple of laps, 5-6 hours to go, does your mindset change? Do you start doing things? Do you start dialing it back 5% or 2%? Do you drive differently?
Do you hear things?
Well, we have a great crew chief, and so whether we're in first place or 50th, we're always doing math. We're looking at, like Brian said earlier, even if you're fighting for 72nd, you're looking at their lap times, we're looking at our lap times, we're looking at fuel calc. We inspect the tires at every stop and like, hey, do we need to conserve? Do we need to push? And so we'll give each other a target. Hey, we need to run this time to gain the next stop. Or if we're doing math and watching, there's two laps behind us, like, okay, all we got to do is keep our nose clean, but we need to maintain this gap. So we'll give each other a target. We've got a race capture in the car, so we can change how much we're pushing if we're conserving or if we're being aggressive. And so being engineers, they're really good at math. So like we're always watching, the race monitor, what our competition is. We're watching what their pit stops are doing and making sure that we're on schedule.
That's how we won PBIR. We won that by a second and a half. And it was.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We were running the math. We knew we didn't have to stop. We knew the Miata would have to stop.
But they were going to come out just about even with us. And they were super fast at PBIR. And Charlie said, I need you to run this lap time. And or I need you to run this lap time. So I ran that lap time, and they said, okay, hold this pace. And I immediately yelled back on the radio, what pace? This is flat out.
Yeah, we need qualifying laps.
Yeah.
10 pits for like the last hour. So, and he kept it clean.
I forgot my password to get into Speed High, but are your lap times pretty consistent, or are you guys just all over the place? You do consistent laps and you break off and kind of regroup yourself and then come back and do more consistent laps, or are you just all over?
We try to run consistent laps, but in traffic, we slow down to.
So you guys are badass then, basically what you're saying.
Well, we're definitely
consistent for us is not very consistent. So
Consistently inconsistent.
and we're also going to trail off a lot in traffic because of what we said earlier, preservation. We had zero contact this race. And more often than not, we come out of the race with zero contact or maybe a little bit here or there. But that requires giving up a little bit in traffic. You just have to. You barrel your way through. You might be able to run better lap times in traffic, but you're also risking it all.
Yeah, I think all three of us are very good at exercising patience and knowing when I don't need to make this pass now. I'll wait another corner or two, to make sure that we finish the race. You can certainly be over aggressive.
So real quick, because we're kind of Bill, we gotta
I
wrap this up.
I know.
But I took down the ChampCar logo because the most important guest here has not said much, and so who's with you there, Brian?
This is Haley.
Oh. Okay, I just had to
I
get
do
that
have
in.
one more question. The most important person on your team is, of course, Chad, but the second most important person on your team is your couch, and the most famous person on your team is your couch.
True. Yep.
And of course, somebody's mom I always sit with for some reason during the race. Is that Brian's mom?
Probably Chad's mom.
Chad's mom, yeah.
Brian's mom or my mom. All of our moms have come to the races. Yeah.
The moms love Bill.
It's always a family event.
Well, I don't know if they love me. They put up with me.
Well, Bill, you bring that up. I don't want to darken the mood here. My mom was very, very big on coming to all of the races, and her last race was Daytona 2019, and I lost my mom to cancer 3 months after that.
Yep.
But that was sort of her. That was her. The last race she made it to.
Well, that's good. At least you spent some.
Fit, and she was probably one that she do a lot.
Yeah. So it was always fun sitting on that couch with you guys and talking about racing and, the parties and just having fun. It's just having fun at a race because that's what we do. That's why we do this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be in this sport without my mom and dad, and I lost both of them in the last 6 months. So I get that very much. And it's important to remember why and the family part of why we do all of this. The cars are fun. Getting out there and driving's a blast, but doing it with family and friends that you really care about is what's really important.
Yeah, we get a lot of family that comes. It's definitely a family event. My mom comes and supports quite a bit. My dad comes a bit. My dad's he took me to racing when I was a kid. We camping at Road Atlanta, and that's how I got into this. So
my dad.
Yep.
And who knew when you were little boys that you'd be winning Daytona?
No doubt.
Yeah, how does it feel? The last question. How does it feel to say, I won a race at Daytona?
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
We're still riding a high.
Did you walk into work and say, I'm a winner?
Absolutely. I got a little round of applause walking into the shop. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Very cool. Gentlemen, thank you. Floridiots, Jason Hickman, Charlie Brown, Brian Moody joining us. Congratulations.
Chad remotely.
Chad remotely on the chat. Thanks, guys. Great job, and we look forward to catching you next time you end up in victory lane.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right,
Thanks,
Bill.
guys.
We got a whole bunch of Victory Lane post-race stuff. You want to get right to that, I guess?
Well, no, let's talk for about 10 minutes about it.
Should we?
No. But yeah, it was fun. It's, you know, I was up in the tower most of the day, so that was the only time I got to come down and talk to the racers, and it's always awesome. Of course, I didn't prep for it. I just went, and there I was down on pit lane trying to figure out what to ask these guys that are winning these races and making sure I get them in the right order. But it was fun. I did mess around with the EC guys, asking why they didn't win and why they got beat by a bunch of Miatas, but they got it. They got the joke. All right, let's go to it.
Let's get right to it. This is the post race from Daytona.
Oh, okay.
All right, down here with the Floridiots and their couch. Race couch.
Couch ran well all day. No issues.
Wait. Let me ask the questions. They pay me the big dollar. They have to do this stuff. So, Daytona winner, what's it feel like?
We won Daytona.
You what?
We won Daytona. Feels great.
It was amazing. We're very excited. So, you know, you guys are in the lead. You take the lead about halfway through the race, ish, thereabouts.
Yep.
When I was watching, I was.
Yeah.
But
We weren't paying attention either.
no, you're just out there putting laps down, man. Consistent, constant laps. So,
These guys
who
were
are your
great.
drivers?
Yep, right there. Charlie, Jason, Brian.
All right, Charlie, Jason, Brian. Have you won this race before?
No.
No.
I won Daytona.
You've won a lot of other races. You guys got
Well,
good?
we got a handful.
This is number
It's our third overall win.
third overall win. Yeah.
Third overall win.
Yeah.
Second with ChampCar.
Second with Champ. No, yeah, I was only 2 ChampCar races.
Back away.
We won a lot of classes, but never the overall, except for PBIR.
So yeah, I found that kind of cool. You guys are up front. We've been racing with you guys for, I mean, you've been racing with ChampCar for a long time.
Since it started.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So a lot has been done with this car.
No.
It's subtle.
Don't mind the cold air intake.
You know, cold air
Don't know the cold air intake. It's just ornamental.
So the cold air intake transformed this car.
Oh, it
from
definitely did.
You know, a pretty good marker to a front marker.
It's transformed this car, and we've been fine tuning it since implementing the turbo, which went on in 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Same turbo, same engine.
Same what?
Same turbo, same engine, same transmission. Everything.
No, we jumped the transmission.
Oh, I did break one.
Yeah, we broke.
Yeah.
But it stayed together for the most important race of your life.
Exactly.
So far.
Far.
All right, where are you guys going to race at next?
I don't know. You tell me. Sebring, I think.
Sebring.
Probably.
You going to go for the triple? No, it's probably only 2 races.
Yeah, it's a double, but it will take it.
What was that
Absolutely.
like out there, man?
That was awesome.
So who had the night shift?
I took it.
He took final stint.
So did you get wrapped up in any of that stuff on the back straight?
No, it happened on the other side of the track, yeah.
So,
We came around and saw it was a big mess.
So you had a pretty good lead, so just back off, stay out of trouble?
We were trying. They're on the radio telling me to slow down, be good. And I'm like, how hard do I have to push? Let's go, let's go.
And you were panicking, right?
No, not at all.
I was panicking.
That was dead smooth.
All right.
We only panicked when he ran out of gas on pit lane, and we had to run down and push him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
of small issues.
And then we panicked whenever we got black flag because he may or may not have passed anybody under yellow.
Jason didn't follow the rules.
No. I followed the rules. I ran out of gas.
That's right. But it was good. It was great.
So every year we're trying to do interviews here. We either have the guy with the jack,
Yeah.
or we have the blower.
Right.
We're going to turn these lights off any second now.
And I still have to climb up to the top to get my camera.
Right.
So.
And then they'll turn the spring.
So I'm here for the champagne and the couch
And the wind.
and the win.
So you're related to some of these winners?
That's my son.
Okay.
What about me?
And that's my husband.
And what does the husband do? Crew chief, right?
Crew chief.
We're the crew. The crew. All right, cool. Bear Maximum Racing, BMW, second place.
Yes, sir.
Daytona.
Yes, sir.
Big race.
Yes, sir.
What do you think, man?
It's awesome. After last year's events here, we got down to 5th. We got punted by Rosnar Racing, Miata. Took us out for an hour. I think we ended up 30th. So we came back with a plan this weekend, executed the plan, finished the plan. So it's a great weekend.
Cool. Who are your drivers this weekend?
So it's myself, Parker, our 18-year-old Shu. Yeah, awesome. And Ken just got out of the car and he's dying, so he's probably cooling off somewhere.
Cool. All right, second place at Daytona. Where are you guys going to finish or race next?
Watkins Glen,
cool.
New York.
All right, guys, we'll see you there. Maybe get a win.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, good race, guys. First Motorsports, third place at Daytona.
The little Miata.
First A-Class. Who knew an A-Class Miata would finish up here at the top of Daytona, man? You guys are doing like 160 down that back street.
I lie. 175.
Yeah,
164. Come on.
So what was that like, that last stint, man? It's pretty dark out there. Lots of stuff going on with other teams, you know, guys hitting stuff.
It was nuts. Yeah, it was dark. It was nuts. The little car that could, Miata. Got to thank Tom Fowler for running with us, Louis Bustani for running with us, Jeff Linford's crew chief here, and he does a great job. ChampCar does a great job. Mark Woodbury, he put on the food show, which was a great. We had so much fun. Most important part. Dave Foley right there. There's the crew. So we have open trailer, a Miata, and we come here and we race 14 hours straight in the little Miata that could.
You can pull it with like a $2 million motorhome, though, don't you?
No, we're not one of those. We're not one of those.
On the other side.
No, we're not
man,
one of those.
I'm trying to tell you, a creative story here.
A $400 junkyard motor.
Somewhere.
$400 junkyard motor. How that's
There
for
you
stories.
go.
That's a good story.
All right.
Thanks, ChampCar.
You guys had to push it a couple times on pit lane?
Nope. No, we came in, we had fuel.
Maybe that was another orange car.
That was another orange car. Oh, that was the BMW.
Yes. Yeah, that was a BMW. Yeah, it's kind of like a Miata.
Dude, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of crazy. 137 cars, so the first 3 hours there was some crazy crap going on. Really nuts, but it thinned out, and then we started going green for, long runs. I went green for an hour 40 today. Well, we had one yellow for about 6 minutes, but hour 40, that's all we can go in this little car. But yeah, dude, Flagtronics, can you say any more? I mean, we 14 hours at Daytona and didn't even throw out a pace car. And there were some pretty good wrecks out there.
Yeah.
So, and that last wreck down there in the bus stop was pretty insane.
I heard it was pretty, somebody blew an engine and
oil.
At least 5 cars involved. We don't know how many.
Yeah, it was 3 to 5. But what a great event. I mean, holy crap. You guys put on a good show, so thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Third
Here
place.
at Daytona Beers Motorsports.
All right, see ya. Thank you.
Marathon TLM. 4th place here at Daytona. You guys do a lot of racing here. Good race, guys.
It was awesome. Yep, day, ton of fun. Thank you to ChampCar. Had a great day, a lot of fun, a lot of racing, ups and downs, a few, challenges and this and that we had during the day, but finished 4th, so to finish top 5 at Daytona is always great, and thank you to ChampCar.
Well, it's pretty cool because you guys were pretty much in the top 12 or so and just worked your way up slowly.
Yeah.
Another 10 hours and you would have got them?
Yeah, there you go. It was fantastic. 4th out of 137 cars.
Oh, kidding, I know.
And we started about 120th.
Yeah.
Because we got unlucky on the draw.
Again.
We finished 2nd in class.
Again.
Yeah. Is there a prize for 2nd in class? Because being 4th is like really right there. Yeah. You get nothing.
Well, you get a few bucks, but that's about it. Chump bucks.
Good. Chump bucks, okay. Thank you, ChampCar.
Good for the next one.
Look forward to Sebring in July for us.
There you go. Where are you guys gonna race at Sebring?
Oh, absolutely.
Sebring's
next. We'll be there. And maybe VIR 24 hours.
Cool. Oh, we'd like to see you there.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Great. Thank you.
Congrats and 4th place and 2nd place in class.
Yes. Great.
At
Thank
Daytona.
you. Thanks.
Down here at Mobo Champ. 5th place at Daytona. A-Class Miata. Who knew an A-Class Miata could be up here at the top? But you guys are.
We knew we were going to be here. Yeah.
You guys have been up here before. I do. So 14 hours at Daytona, man. Pretty good race.
Good race. Nothing wrong with the car. Car ran flawless all day. We just stayed clean, kept it on the track, and that's where we finished.
Cool. Who are your drivers this weekend?
Hiller Calda, Joseph, what's your last name, Joseph? Anderson, Benson.
Still alive? Yeah, that's all right. Thanks, David.
And Joey Evans.
Cool. And where are you guys going to race at next?
Should be at Sebring next.
Cool. All right, guys, we'll see you there. This clean 230 Momo Champ Miata.
It was a good race.
Down here with Avenue Garage, the Mini that could, the 456 B-Class winner. A little tough out there, man, but that Mini was smoking.
Yeah, no, it's a good car when it lasts, and this race it lasts, so it's all that matters.
So who are the drivers this weekend?
Myself, Kirk, Kevin, and Nick.
Cool. You got any sponsors?
No, just Avenue Garage out of Port Charlotte, Florida.
There you go. Cool, man. Good race. Anything exciting happened out there? Just about all race?
Yeah, basically the whole race. Yellow, pink, yellow, green.
There you go.
Over and over. So we'll see you guys in Sebring in July.
Cool. All right, guys. Good race. What the Rush, our F-Class, first overall, first time. Oh, wait, no.
About 2 minutes.
F-Class winner.
That's right.
F-Class winner. What kind of car is this?
This is a 2000 Ford Escort ZX2.
Cool. So a ZX2. You don't see too many of those out there racing, but this one did actually pretty good to win F-Class here at Daytona.
Yeah.
Correct.
First time.
Is that your? Now you guys have been racing with us a little bit.
For about 3 or 4 years now. Yeah. This is our first win.
So who are the drivers this weekend to get you that first place?
It's my nephew Caden. He brought it home for us. This is Todd.
Okay.
And I'm Steve.
Cool. All right. Where are you guys going to race at next?
Sebring.
Everybody's going to be racing at Sebring.
Yeah, all right.
There you go. You going to win Sebring?
I don't know. Is there an F-Class?
Oh, yeah, there's an F-Class at every race.
Then we got a chance.
There you go. All right, guys. Congrats, F-Class winner.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Bill.
Thanks, all right, down here with Bruce Racing and their BMW M3 EC Class winner. Why didn't you guys win this thing outright?
Listen, that's an insulting question. Oh, my gosh. So we started off the day not on track because he forgot to turn the car off.
Wait, let me get over to him.
Forgot to turn the car off. Killed the battery. Had a dead battery. And then we had the biggest issue. Oh, yeah. So we had fuel pressure problems all day long. So we were running like, I don't know, half fuel pressure. So we were probably down 30% on power.
So that's why all these Miatas beat you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just make fun of
It's fine.
I like making fun of M cars. So.
But I would say the story of the day goes to this guy for shoving. Describe exactly what you did.
So we had the front diff bolt come out of the diff, and so how I fixed it, couldn't find diff bolt. There's another M3 here. So if you want to pan under here real quick. I shoved a 10 millimeter Allen L wrench into it and zip tied it, and it lasted for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
That's not a normal
non-normal fix. Non-normal fix.
Let me get this on there.
We'll be welding that to the trophy.
It's only the second time this car's run in 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We did the 14 out layout and our shocks broke. They literally snapped in half.
Up this interview. Everything's falling apart.
Oh, you're good.
All right, guys. Congrats on the EC win here, and we'll see you in the winner's circle.
Thank you.
And behind all those Miatas.
That's true. Not gonna stop.
And we are back inside ChampCar. Brian Bielanski, Bill Strong, getting fancy with the undercar cam. I'm not hearing you, Bill.
I know, because I didn't have my sound on. I was testing you.
Oh, no, I passed.
That's all right. Yeah, so I stuck my camera in there. I don't know what I was looking at. I think you can kind of see the tie straps holding on something that was holding on something that was holding on something.
Or not holding on. They looked like they weren't holding on much.
Well, they finished, so that was interesting. They still lost to a bunch of Miatas. So, but it's all right.
Yeah.
EC's fun.
Yeah.
You know, they're out there racing and it's fun. Yeah. And they won their class, and that was, I think, 10 cars or so in that class. So, hey, guess where we're headed next?
I can't guess.
Yeah, it's Ozarks International Raceway. We're doing a test day, 8 plus 8 hour. So 2 8-hour races. We're headed out there. Come on out, folks. Lake of the Ozarks Grand Prix. We have 28 or 29 cars signed up. I know there's a couple that we're going to sign up after Daytona, which is really cool. Let's make this a fun event. Ozarks, they've changed their turn one layout a bit. And from what I understand, and it should be a little more. I don't want to say less Wally. Is that a word term to use?
Was there a lot of Wally going on in turn 1?
Turn 1, yeah. Ask a few teams, but yeah. So yeah, we're headed out there. I think I get 2 weekends off. Oh my God,
Nice.
I get to mow for 2 weekends.
I know.
And then we come back from that, and then a month later we head to Hallett, back to Oklahoma.
Yep.
I love that place.
I'm going there first.
Oh yeah, you are.
I start next week, this weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
With 5 consecutive weekends of racing.
Oh wow.
A couple of them are at home, remote broadcasting. But
so you're not going to come home and your wife has turned your office into a sewing room or something.
You don't know my wife that well, do you? she might turn my office into something, but it won't be a sewing room.
A bar.
So it's VIR this weekend from home, and then Long Beach Grand Prix. And
so I could go to that race this weekend, throw myself in front of a camera, and see if I can get on TV.
You might be able to. Yeah, you might be able to. Then the Long Beach Grand Prix, then off to Hallett, then Buttonwillow, and then up to Thunder Hill, and then I will see if there's any papers in my mailbox from a divorce lawyer.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. If mine has it, I know yours won't.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, cool, man. And we got a lot going on over the next couple of months, and then we had to we get back from there, and we head to some place called Watkins Glen.
Oh, the Glen,
somewhere north.
Yeah. So,
but we seem to have a lot of cars signed up. 100. We have a cutoff of 110 cars before we start a wait list. But from what I understand, we're going to try and pile a few in there. We got plenty of room at that track. So
cool.
100 cars signed up for Watkins Glen. We've got, to let you guys know, me and Rob and Dana have made some changes to the registration pages. Captains, you'll be able to see who has signed their
waivers,
their waivers, who have paid. Well, first of all, the registration part, you'll be able to see who has, who on your team has paid their membership.
Got it.
Okay. So you'll know, before they just wouldn't show up, but now you'll see them and that they're expired. And then we'll go into when you go into your race, you'll be able to see what team members have signed the waivers, have their gear check done, and if they're expired on their whatever, their membership. Nice. So I didn't know that stuff wasn't in there. We've worked on that. I've still got to add a few things. I've got to put an index of what all these pictures mean, but that's on for tomorrow. And if you're listening this on the podcast, it happened a couple days ago. Cool. But go to your team, go to your next race and look to see on there, see if it works. If you want some more information on there, let me know, guys. We will see if we can play around and get things working a little better.
And that's important because if your members aren't paid, they can't race, right?
Right. And you have to wait in line for an hour to do all that stuff at registration. And I would rather have you do it at the comfort of your own home and not overwork our ladies at the registration desk. They're just there to say, here's your stuff, sir.
And they do a fine
be
job.
On your way. Yes. And just be on your way.
Cool.
So.
All right. Anything else big and important? Do we have a tech tip?
No. We just did an hour-long show, hour and 8 minutes.
I know.
No, I didn't have time for a tech tip. It's been madhouse. We've got I'm getting ready to do the paperwork or some of the presentations for the board meeting, which I think is happening at CMP. I don't know if that's been announced yet, so I probably just did, and it's probably wrong information and something I probably shouldn't have said. But hey, guess what? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So I've got to start working on that information for that presentation. Got to figure out why we had an issue with the show starting on Saturday with Paulie. Paulie had to work today, so we'll get that done this weekend and get whatever we need fixed.
But props to Paulie for figuring it out and getting it up, and he busted his tail on that.
Yes,
I felt
he did.
so bad because I wasn't on the show at that point in time. I was watching from home, and I've been there. It is just like it is chaos. It is terror.
Yes. And you've got people texting you, why is the show on? Why is the show on? Why?
I know.
So, and the same thing happened with our marching ants. And that goes back to real quick, guys. We had some wireless issues upstairs. The track had done some changes to their wireless network, and it affected the tower the rooms we were in, to the point of it took us a while to get stuff going. We had the issue with Flagtronics. The information we would get was delayed because of the amount of cars. Now, what you're getting is instant. So because of that delay, I decided not to run the show because it was just giving correct information.
Right.
It was just delayed and wouldn't be normal. It wouldn't help you out. So it was better not to confuse you. How's that? Is that
makes
better?
sense.
So yeah, and I decided not to do that. Plus we had other issues with stuff going on. Right. So, and it took us a while to get everybody's, transponders corrected in the system. And again, this goes back to especially multi-car teams not putting the transponders in the correct cars. You guys have to work on this because it really makes our timing and scoring guys pull their hair out, and some of them don't have much left to pull out. And so make sure your Flagtronics numbers and your correct transponder numbers are in the system, not just for this race, but do it under the car. Go to edit a car, and change them in there. And then that will go to every race. But if you do change it for a race, remember, it reverts back to what was originally after the race is over.
Right.
So, yeah, please. Our guys were, it took them 2.5 hours to get everything compiled, all the cars correlated, and before we were able to put up Race Monitor. When we have wireless issues, we have to go with Race Monitor. It's the only one that works reliably. Race Hero can actually affect the timing and scoring system, which we don't ever want to do for obvious reasons. And so that's why we go with just one when we have low wireless setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And let's go racing. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
All right. That is going to do it for another episode of Inside ChampCar. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe, smash the buttons. That's what the kids say anyway. Also, same for the podcast on Fridays. That helps us out a ton. Share it on your social media channels. Comment on our Facebook page, especially if it's a good one. We have new episodes every week, live Tuesday on the YouTube, and then our regular Thursday podcast. He's Bill Strong. I'm Brian Bielanski. This is the Racing Wire Podcast Network and ChampCar Live. Have a great week.